But I'll tell you what, like before we talk SummerSlam as well, John. I mean, the news that obviously we're all thinking about is Vince retiring, resigning, whatever it was. I mean,
Yes.
are you excited for the future under Stephanie, Nick Khan, and Triple H? What's your
Yeah,
thought?
I mean, a lot of people are very excited that Hunter got his job back. I don't really, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm optimistic, like everybody else. I think changing the TV rating, and of course Vince having the problems that he's having. I didn't see how they were going to weather that storm. They seem to not care, and now, obviously, it's a bigger issue with him stepping away. I
Yeah.
mean, look, the timing of everything obviously is suspect, but WWE has a major competitor to compete with for viewers and for product right now, and AEW is not going anywhere. And I don't know if this is in response to that. Maybe this is in response to it. I don't know. They don't seem to be they don't seem to really care about AEW that much publicly, but maybe this is a way to sort of compete with a younger, company with a much younger demographic, which is a very different demographic, quite frankly. Their demographic is completely different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, the WWE is a wild company. It's kind of like Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Like it doesn't matter, or McDonald's. It doesn't matter if it's bad for you. It's still good. It's still good. People still love
sells.
it. Yeah, it still sells. It's one of those things, and I think the brand is so big and so entrenched in culture globally that you can go back to Gobbledygooker versus Repo Man, and there would still be a lot of people talking about, watching. I really do. I really think it doesn't matter anymore. It just. AEW, the quality does matter because they're younger and they have more different expectations. They can't get away with Repo Man versus the Gobbledygooker, but you got to kind of earn that. You have to earn that crap.
I did hear one news story I found interesting about the, Stephanie and Nick Khan are both co-CEOs. I was wondering how that's going to work between the two of them. And apparently Stephanie McMahon is like the public face of the company. She's by all means the promoter of WWE. Whereas Nick Khan's going to be negotiating the business deals for like TV and, the behind the scenes business. And I think between them, like Nick Khan doesn't have many fans in the wrestling community, but those two together splitting that 50-50, Steph as the promoter, Nick Khan as the ruthless businessman in the back, that's quite a formidable team, if you ask me.
Yeah. And don't forget Stephanie's husband running talent.
And running creative and talent relations.
Running creative and talent.
Yeah.
Okay. By committee, I think it's such a big look. One of the things I think AEW suffers from is that Tony went from listening to too many people to now not listening to probably anybody from the way it's been explained. Right? You got to find a happy medium there, right? Like I don't want my wife cursing me out in the garage, but I also have to think about what I did to make somebody want to curse me out in the garage. So it's like, okay, let's find the medium here. And that's the same thing. Like Tony Khan doesn't need to listen to everybody that walks in the door to tell him what to do, but maybe by committee you could put a panel together of a couple of different people that are experienced, just like what I think WWE is going to do. I don't know if last night was sort of the beginning of something different. It definitely felt different. I felt different watching it. I don't know what you guys thought, but it felt different. Like NXT, it felt like a different show.
Yeah. Do you know what I feel like it felt like? It felt like they were wrapping up anything that was pre-existing WWE Vince, right? And this is like the season finale for Vince's WWE, where they were, retconning whatever they could, getting ready to make a fresh start in the coming weeks.
Well, there is talks of the Gold and Black returning as well, isn't the NXT or somewhere along there.
Bray,
I want to ask one more thing though, John, before we do talk SummerSlam. Talking about all that, with all the change in regime now, do you think we've officially seen the end of Shane McMahon?
Yeah, I don't think he ever really wanted to. I think he chose to do talent over business because he didn't really want to do the business. He would, if he wanted to be in the business, he'd be in the business. It's that simple. And that he chose to be an on-air character, kind of like Paul Heyman, right? Like I had this conversation with my brother-in-law, and I was like, I really wish Paul Heyman would go back behind the scenes and maybe run the. But like he's so content doing what he's doing and making a great living and playing a role on television. He doesn't. If Paul Heyman really wanted to book a company or work, he'd be doing it, right? I mean, so I don't. Shane maybe as talent, you might see Shane come back and do something in talent form, you know, maybe they'll clearly do some storyline where Shane and Stephanie fight for the family business, and maybe Shane brings in, you know, people that left, and like, you know, and he's like, oh, I'm bringing in the people that left because they left because of you, Stephanie. Like, you know, and he brings in like Bray Wyatt, and he brings in like Aleister Black if his contract's up. I don't know, his contract's not up, but or whoever is like on the periphery, you know, like we saw last night. There was a couple people we were surprised. It's not a lot, but there's a couple that we just didn't expect to see, and we saw them. You know, that we thought maybe we're even gone. So I don't know. I'm interested, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't think a problem's been solved. I think Kevin Dunn needs to go. Whoever's writing needs to go.
I think he's on his way out, Dunn.
He's on his way out.
He's done.
His nuts are definitely cut off. But I'd like to see him formally distanced from the company.
Yes.
I'd like to see them say, hey, we got in some younger writers. We're going to do a couple different things here. We're going to try some different storylines. And that's what I'd like to see. I think the talent is thin. Quite frankly, I think they have less talent than AEW does in terms of performers. They do. But it doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because you can make Austin Theory.
And again. Well, I'll just look at my phone for a moment. I'll just Google who Austin Theory is. Austin Theory. Yeah.
Got my new phone, Jamie?
What?
Got my new phone?
Oh,
seriously?
Yeah.
Another new phone?
Yeah.
That's not a phone.
No, it's not.
Is it?
No.
I don't know what the heck's going on. Sorry.
He's back.
Guys. If it happens again, I'll switch to my phone. Sorry.
Okay.
That's all right.
No worries. Callum could edit all this out anyway. He's a master editor.
I'll edit this.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right.
That's why I pay him. That's why I pay him the
I
big
know.
money.
Well, that's how you guys are all able to pursue that the male model career. You guys are the male models. So what was your guys' take? I haven't talked to you about any of the show. I haven't really talked publicly about it because I knew I was talking about it here.
Yeah, I haven't watched it all the way through. I've seen it, but I've had to skip through bits because I've been out all day, so I had to get home. But I enjoyed what I saw. I enjoyed the start, the Becky Lynch Bianca Belair. Am I seeing a Becky Lynch face turn?
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like they were building that up. They want her to be a face. They put her in all these circumstances with like promotions and kids and advertising, so she needs to be a face.
They're setting her up for Rousey at Mania next year, I think. So they're starting to plant that now. I think that's the way that goes. So
I think so. And like obviously we're talking about. Obviously, I thought it was great. Bailey returning, Io Shirai. I was absolutely over the moon to see Dakota Kai come back. I was so shocked.
Don't know if I like that look for her, to be honest with you. I don't know if I like that look. The Cruella de Vil kind of look.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say, did you guys happen to see how much smaller like Io and Dakota were to Bailey and everything?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's like tiny dancers. My goodness.
Know what? I'll say this though, that was one of the most surprising returns in a long time. It might not have been the most impactful, but it was definitely the most surprising. I had zero idea Dakota Kai would be there. And
as far as I knew, she didn't work for the company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But I do wonder as well, I mean, obviously now Triple H is head of creative. Do you think we're going to see a few more people that were released return?
For sure.
That's what people think, and I think you guys think so too, right? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Now, who that is who that is. I don't know, but let's see. I mean, I'd like to see Killer Cross and Scarlett come back. I think that was just ridiculous. I don't know how you couldn't make that something. I just don't know.
Same with Aleister Black. Yeah. Same with
Killer Cross.
Alistair's he's locked in for a while.
The interesting thing though is, they're locked in with AEW, but give it a few years, and when these contracts come up, what used to be I'll never go back to WWE is now I'll consider it for the right money, or since Triple H is in charge, I might as well go back to WWE. I might get the push I deserved from last time. The money might be better. Who knows? It's opened the door for negotiation for the future.
I think if they leave him alone and give it a couple of years, I think it'll be a completely changed product. And I think wrestlers will want to come back and be a part of that.
Well, I mean, Cody, I think, changed that forever, right?
Yeah.
So let's be honest. I mean, Cody really changed. Obviously, Cody got hurt right away, which sucked, and he had a lot of heat, and I'm sure he'll get that back when he comes back, probably. But Cody changed that. Just the way CM Punk changed people saying I'm done with wrestling and then come back to wrestling. So it's like, these things we've all seen this before. If Bray shows up on Monday, everybody will shit their pants and everybody will lose their minds, and then they'll credit that to Hunter. They'll credit that to Stephanie taking over the company, or if we find out that Charlotte and Cross are coming back, or if they show up on NXT as a surprise, we would credit that to Hunter and we would credit that to Stephanie. And so that's what I think people want to see happen, but I don't know that they will. But certainly for me last night, I watched it this morning, I should say, but last night, that opening match was fantastic. They treated it like as big as SummerSlam, which I liked. It had a big match feel, big show feel. The crowd was very generous. The place looked great. Opening match, the place lost their minds. I didn't like the placement of that match. I felt like it maybe should have co-headlined, but it was a smart idea to get the crowd going with the hometown person, so to speak, in it, and the only hometown person really, I guess, in the match. On the card, right? Is Bianca the only person from the state that was on the card? I think so. Right?
I think so.
I believe so. Yeah.
I
have no idea.
What a response! I mean, she got an amazing response.
Smart placement to have that there because, like you said, you had the.
And by the way, that wasn't leaked that Bayley was coming out, right? That was just total
people assumed she was going to be back, but I like the idea that Bayley came back followed by 2 more people, and it set the tone for the rest of the night. Like anything could happen, and it was like, okay, I'm interested from the first match.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously while we're talking about the women, we mentioned obviously it looks like we're getting Becky Ronda at Mania. I'm liking Ronda's direction as well because I think she's a natural heel, and I feel like we cemented the heel turn last night. I enjoyed the ending to that match. I mean, what was your thoughts, Joel, on the ending of Liv and Ronda?
I think Liv is a little milquetoast. I think she survived the blonde girl wars. There was the war of the blonde girls, and she's the one of the last remaining ones. Yeah. She's a hard worker. She seems like a very sweet person. I just don't charisma wise. Don't really see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. It's not personal. She seems like a wonderful person, but I don't think she's. It's a nice story. They did this story with Nikki, right? They did this story with Sasha a bunch of years ago. They did this story with Bayley where it's like I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not, and it's like it's the same. It's a different. It's another blonde version of this again.
I'll be honest. One thing I don't like about Liv's character is I'm not buying the sob story. I don't know if you saw the promo from Raw or SmackDown a couple of weeks ago. She said, I had to go through so much to get here. I used to be a waitress," and it's like, okay. Is that meant
Sasha, I mean, we've seen this before, right? Honestly,
you used to be a waitress.
Like, well, what you mean? You weren't born into wrestling? Like,
you had a normal job.
You had a normal job like everybody else in the company before they came to the company, except like maybe Pat McAfee or Roman or whatever. It's like, dude, like, why is that impactful? Like, we're just presuming. I mean, Mick Foley slept in his car? You know how I know that? Because he told me he slept in his car like 100 times. Like, it's just like, I'm not supposed to be here. It's like, I know. You were Enzo's girlfriend in NXT and you were living with him and he was weird. Like, I get it. He wrote a song about you. It's weird. Like, it's like.
Well, I think, so are we looking at it as maybe a transitional champion? I'm presuming the belt's going to be put back on Ronda at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Fairly. But the next pay-per-view.
I mean, also, but don't you think that made Liv look weak because she did tap? Right.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and she got the piss kicked out of her for the entire match as well.
Like this is like you're not supposed to have this. And I get maybe that's part of the story is that Ronda will get the belt back in a very aggressive way. And
she did look like shit though in the match. I thought,
Who, Liv or Ronda?
I don't think that Ronda kind of healed up enough really at the end. She really should have gone to town on Liv.
Yeah, she was beating dudes up. They let her beat some men up and put some holds on some people. I mean, look. The suspension of disbelief with Ronda is difficult because Ronda would just manhandle every one of these girls. Like, honestly, she would wipe the floor with everybody. So her and Bianca really should just be slapping everybody to death, like every time they see them. That being said, you got to tell a story. You got to sell a story. And the crowd, look, I'm in the minority. We all might be in the minority. The crowd is into this Liv story for now. But we've seen this. It's not going to last. It's not forever.
Yeah.
Somebody had to get hurt or come back, and there's only so much room now. Bayley's back on that. You know, and well, Bailey's on the Monday brand, I guess we assume now, right? Is that?
I think so. I mean, obviously, when
Bailey
Charlotte
was a SmackDown wrestler, wasn't
Bailey
she?
was SmackDown. I mean,
Okay,
when Charlotte due back, you know.
Well, she just got married. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't. You know, the father doing his Ric Flair thing is tonight, so he had to have. You know.
And there's talk as well of Triple H potentially reaching out to Sasha and Naomi. I mean. So, I mean, if they come back, I mean...
Well, but let me ask you guys a question, though. Like, just to stay with the women for a minute, but, like, why do you need Sasha and Naomi back? You just got Bailey and 2 other people onto the main roster. Like, where are all these people going? You know what I mean? Like, you look at Mandy going to NXT was the greatest thing that ever happened to her in her life.
Yeah.
Made her super relevant in a smaller brand. That's perfect. Perfect the way that worked out for her, right? And she got to elevate a couple of other people while doing it. And it's working. It works for that, you know. You bring back Sasha and Naomi, you got Charlotte back, now you got Ronda still in the contract, and now Bailey's got people, but you also brought back Dakota, and now you also maybe want to punch Io because Io's really good. And don't forget you have Asuka. And it's like, this is too much already. It's already too much. Right? Like, so it's like, how does this work? You know, the reason why I think Sasha and Naomi felt out of step was because there was already too many people before you even brought these other people back. And it's like, you can't keep Becky this, you know, trying to make Becky this household thing that she's not. And you really want Bianca to be that, and she might turn out to be that organically. But that means also you have Ronda. It's like there's not enough room for everybody to eat at
the problem is, though, that the women's feuds are always so linear. Like, they never have anything other than a 1 versus 1 feud. Like, have a freeway match, a freeway feud, a 4-way. You know, have more than 1 woman involved, 2 women, involved in every title picture. You've got the tag team titles now, where you can have 4 teams.
But like no one cares about them. And I think Sasha, the way Sasha and Naomi left killed those belts. They should have just got rid of those belts.
Yeah, they should. But there's definitely room to have like maybe 15, 16 women involved in all of the feuds across the titles, and like non-title feuds, which should be happening as well. Like, you can easily use 20 women in those feuds with that TV time and get by with that. But they never know how to do anything outside of 1 versus 1 feuds, and they don't give a shit about the tag titles. So,
and they're constantly bringing people up from NXT and not doing anything with them, not planning anything for them, and they just chuck them out there. It's just extra bodies to throw out there and have matches on SmackDown every week.
It's to fill up like the Women's Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah, exactly. And put on matches that you couldn't give a shit about because, you know.
And by the way, we didn't even mention Alexa. We didn't even mention Doudrop. You didn't even mention Nikki. We didn't even mention Shotzi. We didn't even mention. It's like they're lying. There's just too many.
John, we didn't mention Rhea Ripley as well.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. You know, but because I can't remember because there's too many people.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Sasha and Naomi leaving could be great for Impact or NXT or
Rodriguez.
So much better, right? It could be so much better.
I've thought for years that they should have they need to trim the roster by like 70%.
Well, they gave it a good go.
Can you imagine Sasha and Naomi just showing up to AEW just arbitrarily and just beating the crap out of Britt Baker and then beating the crap out of the girl sees aliens or whatever, like, and just beating the crap, and because you're just not sure what they're doing. Like, what are you two doing? Like, are they going to work with the system? Are they heels? Are they baby faces? Just interfering in matches and having the announcers going, they don't even really work here. Like, we're not even. No one said they're supposed to be here.
The outsiders.
Yeah, make them the outs. What an impact! Have them even do that on Impact. Slap Jordan Grace around and just be like, "What the hell's going on?" Like, we didn't even know they were going to be here. No one, the dirt sheets didn't have it. So it's like, isn't that mean more than then just joining, getting in the line of WWE of all the other people?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
That's what I'd like to see happen, but I don't know that that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. And I mean, obviously, I know we're talking heel turn with Ronda and stuff. The tag team match, also Street Profits. Are we seeing a bit of dissension with the Profits as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think the writing was on the wall when you started to see Montez Ford get a little bit like bigger, like putting more weight on, and then mentioning it is for a singles push. I mean,
he screams megastar.
Yeah. You do something with him. The other dude, Dawkins, is still not really in the best shape. He doesn't really have the same character.
I really like Dawkins, though. I don't know what it is about him that I like. I really do like the guy, but...
Well, do you think, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think him not being what Montez is helps Montez? In other words, you can't have 2 Ricky Mortons, right? You got to have a Robert Gibson.
Yeah.
You can't have 2 Shawn Michaels. You got to have a Marty Jannetty. right? You can't have two, like you gotta have, like nobody really stands out. Like you can't have two guys just ga like all the time. So maybe that's beneficial in some ways to have Dawkins just be like, oh, what's up, fam? Like I'm kind of chubby, but not really. Am I chubby? We don't know. I'm always wearing a tank top that's loose. And Montez Ford is like doing flips and backflips.
Do you take Montez heel? Do you think he'll have a heel?
Yeah, I think he could be an arrogant heel. Be like, look, I'm better in the ring than so many people. I was held back by this guy for years. That's the only way I could break through. And then as soon as I started getting some shine, I couldn't take it. It's a natural story. It tells it's the same story we've seen a million times too.
Yeah.
You can say, hey, look, my wife, and by the way, I think Bianca works better as a heel. I know I'm the minority here.
No, I agree with you.
I think Bianca is an unstoppable heel because she's a superior, like she's on an athletic level, and she's like a lifelong athlete. She's not a fitness model. She's a lifelong athlete with high attributes, just like Ronda is a lifelong athlete. Like you have to. Yeah, I like seeing people who are like better at things. But look, I'm better than you at this, so why do I need to be a good guy? I'm better.
That's it. Could you imagine a Bianca and Montez power couple?
Power couple.
Yeah.
Could be like, listen, we're two of the best performers ever in this company, and we never really got the respect because we had to get behind other people. We're not doing it anymore. Perfect story. They could be like the Four Horsemen. They could do like a Four Horsemen story.
Do you think they're going to do with the Usos what they're doing with Roman as well? Do you think the Usos are going to have a 2-3 year tag team title run out with this?
I mean, they have to keep the Usos strong to keep the Roman story strong, right? That was the only way that worked. And I don't know, maybe there was a plan to bring what's her face in there, before she quit.
Oh, Naomi.
Nia Jax. Yeah, Nia Jax or Naomi. Like maybe there was a plan to do that. I think that's a natural story. Just let that run itself.
Yeah.
That's what AEW learned about Tay Conti and what's his face, Sammy Guevara, right? Because like Sammy was a white meat babyface for a good while. She was a white meat babyface. People got sick of them making out with each other and like picking at each other's thongs on the internet or whatever. And they now they're creepy heels, right? So and people went with it. So I think you could do that with Bianca. Bianca and Montez, I would do that very differently. I would do. Maybe let Montez get like a singles push, win like a U.S. title or something like that, and then have Bianca do something crappy like to keep her belt, and then people are like, why did you do that? And he's like, why did I do that? Because when I was winning, just kicking everybody's ass here, I still had to get behind Charlotte. I still was told I had to get behind Becky, even though I beat her up. I still had to get behind Asuka. I beat all these people. Like when you're asking me why am I doing it? It's like it's just like I would like to see that story told. But Street Profits are great. We've seen a lot of these matches last night before. I felt like the beginning and the end were all you needed to see last night. Honestly,
I tuned out of that tag match, to be honest. So.
I tuned out of that tag match because I feel like I've seen it 100 times. Yeah, and I knew the Usos had to win. Like they had to win to keep looking strong for Roman.
What was your thoughts? Obviously, I mean, I thought it was a bit random having Jeff Jarrett as the special referee.
I still don't understand the point.
I don't get that. I didn't. I mean, I like Jeff Jarrett. I thought he looked in great shape as well. But
the only reason was because they were in Tennessee, Music City, with Jeff Jarrett guitar. That was literally it.
Where is the Ric Flair? Where is the Ric Flair show tonight? Where is that?
That's in Tennessee, isn't it?
Is it in Tennessee?
Yeah, they're piggybacking off SummerSlam.
They're doing a StarCast today that's going on right now.
Yeah. I think that's in Memphis.
It's in Memphis. Okay, so
what Ric Flair show? What's going on?
It's the last Ric Flair
match tonight.
Yeah.
Ric Flair's having a last match.
This is his last match ever.
Then they're going to put him to sleep. They're going to anesthetize him, and then they're going to Kevorkian him.
It's a tag team match, Rivers. Right. It's Ric Flair and Andrade against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett.
Right. Yeah, I'll be honest.
Every fan's dream match.
I watched WrestleMania, and I haven't watched an episode of Raw SmackDown since, or a pay-per-view since WrestleMania. So I'm a little bit out of the loop.
Well, what did you guys? I'd like to get your guys' take. What did you guys think overall last night? What was your takes?
It's the first time in a while that I've been quite excited because I can sense a little bit of change. They're kind of like just sprinkling a little bit of change, and I think
optimism.
H is in charge of the creative now. The talent. It's got me a little bit. It's perked my interest again. So it's good for me.
I was the same. I was starting to. I'll always be a wrestling fan. I'll always watch it, but these last couple of months myself, I've kind of found myself losing a bit of that passion. And it's starting to come back again now. Like I only know Vince McMahon. I've been watching wrestling since about 88, 89. So I've never had anything but Vince. And I'm a Triple H guy, so I'm very excited to see where this is going to go. Like Rivers, I'm optimistic. I think we're going to see not massive changes straight away, but I think something's coming. I think we saw bits of that at SummerSlam last night. So I enjoyed last night. I'll mention it now. Edge coming back with the remix of the Broods music, but I just kind of feel like I'm not interested in the Judgment Day anymore. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, it's not. It was never really that interesting anyway. Yeah. It felt like an answer to the House of Black in a weird way. It did feel like, not that that's so original either, because it's really the Ministry of Darkness. I mean, it's like, and you could say it's really Kevin Sullivan's ministry. It's like, we can do that all the time. It's just, I guess, it's another thing where they have all these people without enough to do. Yeah. Like, look at AJ's role last night. AJ's one of the best in-ring performers of the 21st century. I mean, like, it was AJ's role last night.
Come out and beat Ciampa, which again, there's another guy, Ciampa. I really hope now Triple H is creative to do something more with Ciampa, because I feel like they're wasting him. Where's this site?
Seems like a wasted spot. Seems like a throwaway spot.
I think they know what they're doing with Ciampa. I'll be honest. They're putting with Miz right now because it's such a stupid contrast between the Miz and Ciampa. You're waiting for Ciampa to snap and become the Psycho Killer. That's going to happen, and now Triple H is back in charge. If you think that's not going to happen, then you don't know Triple H. That is absolutely going to happen.
I hope so. And obviously, going back to Edge as well, and the Judgment Day, the Mysterios, John. I mean, I've been wanting a dominant heel turn for a while. Do you think we're going to get that now?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty dry. Like, he's not great. He doesn't really belong on the spot. He's not in the greatest shape either. Like, there's a lot of, but the fans, like I said, fans don't seem to give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like, okay, like I look at Dominic and I go, this is probably not a good idea. He doesn't have the charisma. He's not in great shape. He doesn't really emote that great. He's not terrible, but he's not great. He's not his dad. And it's just like, I mean, this is clearly just a favor to his dad, and for coming back and carrying the schedule, and people love Ray, and Ray's a legend for sure. It's not going to make his son any more interesting. That's the problem.
How much longer do you think Ray's got? I mean,
he's going to be like David Flair. Like, it's just like, it's not going to make him any more interesting.
Yes, that's a good analogy. I've never heard. He's a David Flair.
Well, that's why I'm here, Jamie. I come with the big stuff. I come with the big ideas.
This is it, man. This is it. Yeah.
When you get a gray philosophical beard like this, you come with the big ideas.
I must be honest with you, John. I am finding a few bits of gray in my beard, and I really like it. So,
well, they're raging against the red. That's the thing. They're fighting the red.
I'm going to be the Grey Wolf on Twitter at some point. It's I like it. I like it. Now,
let me ask you guys a question. A lot of the criticism I saw was the main, other than the opening and the closer. The majority of the show felt like a Raw. Did you guys feel that way? Yeah. Obviously, take the Logan Paul big spot out. Obviously, that was a huge spot, or like that was unbelievable, and that was great. You got to give him his props for that. That was great. But did you guys feel the meat of the show was very generic, or did you guys not? Did you guys like the middle of the show? I felt the meat of the show was pretty bland.
I thought there was not really much direction. It was the problem is it was predictable, and Raw is predictable. So when something's predictable, I completely tune out. Like, no matter how good the match is, I don't give a shit about the moves if I know the outcome of the match or what it's going to be. I don't care about the wrestling as much these days. So if there's no interest for me, if I know what the result's going to be, I just won't watch it. And everything seemed, like you said, very formulaic, just like an episode of Raw where it's predictable. But the start and the finish were really solid. I didn't see anything from the start or the finish coming. With the start with the returns and the ending with the flipping of the ring. Amazing, right? Everything else was just a bit dry.
Yeah. I think I skipped through Lashley theory. McAfee, Corbin. McAfee's great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that guy's a natural. But
what did you guys think of Logan Paul?
Amazing.
He's
amazing.
good. Yeah,
He looks like a wrestler too. He looks like a wrestler.
I'll tell you something, right? You can hate the guy, and I'm sure Jamie does because he hates anyone who's pop culture. But you've got to give him his props. That guy is taking it more seriously than some fucking pro wrestlers take it.
Because he's a fan. That's why.
Yeah, he's got himself in incredible shape. He's got an attire that actually looks like a superstar's attire. He looks like a wrestler.
Yeah, he looked like a pro. He looked like
you know what I mean? He looks like a pro.
Yeah, he looked like a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
No, I was not familiar with Logan Paul up to a year or so ago, but the guy like McAfee, I think he's a natural.
Yeah.
You know, he's taken to it like a duck to water. You know, he can play.
Well, he's an athletic guy. He fights. He boxes and stuff.
He was an amateur wrestler as well in college.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was legit. So
he's got personality as well, though. He's got charisma.
Plenty.
He does. And I like the way he was interacting with the ref and Maurice. It was like it looked like wrestling. Like it didn't look like cosplay.
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't look like theater performance. It looked like a guy who. And by the way, maybe they rehearsed that 100 times. Good. I mean, did it work? Good. I don't care if they rehearsed it 1,000 times. It was worth it, you know.
And I'll tell you what, as well, and I know I don't think he gets enough credit. The Miz is so good.
Yeah.
At what he
does.
He's
there for that, right? Like somebody has to get beaten up by the celebrity. Somebody has to make.
He does it so well. He does it so well.
It's a good role for him. It's really the only role for him at this point. I still don't see why he's still there. It's time to move on.
I like it when wrestlers. I like it when wrestlers kind of like shout at the crowd or kind of like acknowledge.
Yeah, it's old school. It's an old. This is an old school heel.
They did a few spots like that last night.
Well, the other thing is too. If you watch AEW, most of the heels are over.
Yeah,
they're not really heels. They're over. The crowd chants their name. The crowd sings their song. The crowd wears their shirts, and then they don't belittle the crowd. They belittle the other wrestler.
Yeah,
Miz belittles a real heel. Doesn't belittle just the other. He belittles you. He belittles me.
Exactly. Yes.
He's like, why are you cheering for me? I don't. You make me sick.
Even if it's just that you like me. Even if it's just typical cheap heat by like mocking the wherever they are, the
state,
basketball team or whatever, anything like that. Just any kind of interaction where they piss off the crowd is great. Is just
there seems to be this weird thing where people like, especially like on in AEW in particular. I can't say for Impact, and I don't think New Japan is like this, but I don't. New Japan's weird. They don't really do the heel face thing that much. It's just whoever the crowd likes and they fight and that's it. Heels need to be heels, right? So like I want my heels to be villains. I want to root against them.
Yeah.
In spite of how good I think they are, what they do, it doesn't matter, right? So that's that's the problem. Is I feel like there's this weirdness with people not wanting to be heels because there's also maybe they feel their merchandise isn't good. Like Roman being a heel is one of the greatest things ever. I mean, it's undisputed.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a babyface Roman for the last 2.5 years just doing the same old, doing the what they gave Drew to do, which is now what Drew does. Hey, whatever the pop culture and an accent thing.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Hey,
what's popular? Hey,
one little side thing. What's Drew's? Go on, Jamie.
I'm just going to say, you're probably going to say the same thing when he came out last night with his sword and all. I've just gone right off Drew. The guy's got all the talent in the world. But what are we doing with him?
He was the COVID. Drew will never recover from being the COVID champion.
Yeah.
That was it. They put him on top when there was no audience. There was literally heads of people on screens, and he was the champion.
Yeah.
It's a weird flex, man. It was a weird time. They sacrificed Drew for COVID, and now COVID's over, and people are like, wasn't it the guy who was the champ when there was nobody here, when there was nobody in the arena? Like, that's weird, right? Like, I don't know. I just I tie Drew into the COVID champ.
You don't think they're going to do something crazy like put the belt on him at this castle crash at the castle? What's it called? The castle
crash at the castle.
Crash at the castle. I don't know. It's in Wales. Who gives a shit?
Crash at the cat. Yeah, I mean, people think that that's Roman's next big feud. I don't know. I don't know that that's really. I don't know.
I mean, are we all agreed Roman's going into WrestleMania as champ still?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah.
Well, there's nobody else, but this is the thing. Like, who do you do this with? There's no.
Well, this is it. I mean, the fact that they're talking about bringing The Rock
Cody.
back, yeah,
that's Cody. Next year. And Cody will get one belt, and then but Rock can't take a belt.
Exactly.
No.
That's not going to happen.
I would take the belt off Roman before Mania and have him fight Rock, and then
have him beat Rock to solidify his greatness at Mania.
And then and then maybe he can just bugger
Rock's off. A busy dude. I mean, Rock is the most. Rock gets $120 million a picture now.
Well, we're saying that's what I mean. Is The Rock even going to come back for Mania next year? They're talking about it, but is he going to come back? This is it. But I like the idea of Cody. I think Cody, for me, is the obvious.
It can only be Cody at this point. I think we all agree. There's only one person he will be over enough at that point.
Yeah,
it's Cody, right?
Cody? Yeah,
it's got to be babyface Cody. Yeah.
And then they could do a whole thing. Well, it's in Hollywood next year though, so The Rock would really. It's in LA, and then the next year in Philly. Yeah, I think I fucked it up on the show the other day, but because I thought it was in Philly next year, and I think me and Shaw were like, oh, I guess we're gonna do something because if it's in Philly, we're gonna have to do something for it. So, but now we got
it's 24.
It's 24. It's a year and a half away, if not more. So, I don't know what happens now. I liked the match last night. It was a little long. But everything is a little long. At this point, to complain about it being long is just like complaining about the rain getting you wet as you walk outside. No one is in a rush to tell these stories anymore. They want to keep you there forever. AEW had like a 5-hour pay-per-view, not that long. I mean, it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, this
but it was nice as well. It was nice to see Brock actually go a bit longer. But
Brock is into it. I mean, I don't know what you do with Brock now either. It's like maybe this was just it, and this is Brock's way of like they buried that was the proverbial burying of Brock.
Maybe.
What do you do with Brock?
Can we get a Brock Lesnar feud that isn't revolving around the title? I'd love to see Brock Lesnar have a personal feud that isn't title based.
Yeah. But how do you get him there? Right?
That's I don't know, but there must be a way, right?
Yeah. I mean, or like maybe they do something with Austin with Money in the Bank. I don't know.
Well,
but no one wants to see Austin.
I think Brock's more your attraction now, isn't he? I guess like Taker was, like Cena's probably going to be. I think Brock's more like that attraction now. Bring him back for a Mania or a SummerSlam once or twice a year. Have a big match with somebody, but it doesn't need to be around the title anymore. I hope he still comes back every now and then because this has probably been my favorite Brock. You can see he's having fun.
Yeah, I mean, this. I don't know what you do with him now, though. Is what I'm saying. It's like
I know, I get that. Yeah, I'm the same. I can't.
What do you do? Does he feud with Edge? I mean, like no one's like It's like.
Yeah, I can't think of who you. I totally agree with you. I'm trying to think right now, and I can't give you an
unless
answer.
They pull something really weird out of left field, and like Brock comes out and cuts a promo maybe on like Friday, and talks about maybe like Roman figured out a way to beat me because he had his goons with him and his family and all this other stuff. But that wasn't good. That's definitely going to be our last match. And Brock being like, and there's really nothing left for me here. And as much as I enjoy, like Rock doing like a fake, like I'm going to leave. And then you see a Bray Wyatt montage, and they go to commercial, and everybody shits their pants for 3 days. You know, and like, is Bray coming back to feud with Brock fucking Lesnar? Like, what the fuck is that?
You know what you could do? I think you do that, but instead of Bray, it's the Maximum Male Models come out.
Yeah, maybe.
You just have him feud with the Maximum Male Models.
Yeah, like he could take a while to walk. Or maybe he could be like, listen, I only lost because of 2 reasons, and those 2 reasons are Jay and whatever the other Uso, the one who likes to fight with cops. Jimmy. Yeah, the one who hates the police. Well, I mean, he just doesn't. He hates them when he's drunk. But like, and have him just, maybe he does a short program where he fights the Usos and he just beats the shit out of Usos.
I'd take that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool because he's like every time I've had Roman where I wanted him, there was 2 reasons to stop. There's like 2 things got in my way. And now I'm putting my attention on those 2 things.
That's how you could take the titles off the Usos. Brock just completely
that'd be kind of funny,
the Usos
and
over.
Then Brock, like, that'd be like, look, I don't hate that because Brock throwing them around like a doll could be fun for at least 1 or 2 pay-per-views, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you could do stipulation matches too, like 2-on-1, like a handicap match versus Brock at the next big pay-per-view, or something like that. That would be fun. Or like Brock just beat or they challenge Brock. Or they'd be like, we set Brock out. We're the reasons why Brock, like we helped bury Brock, and then Brock comes out while they're cutting their bullshit promo, because there's not the tag team division's dead, right? It's dead. They don't even give a shit about the tag. Like compare that to AEW's tag division, embarrassing. I mean,
I hope that Triple H is going to kind of bring that back to something,
I would like to see that.
I think he will.
There's enough bodies for it. Yeah. I'm not saying just put people together for no reason, but like at least get some people languishing.
And you know what else I would like to see him do? If he is going to revitalise the tag team division, get rid of those god-awful tag titles and, bring back the old school tag titles, you know. I can't stand those.
Which one are you talking about? Which ones? The SmackDown ones or the Raw ones? Because remember, Usos have both.
Oh, both.
They're both shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both look like crap. Yeah, a lot of the belts don't look good.
I'd like them just to kind of bring the belts together and just have one world championship.
Well, that might be the end of it too. I mean, that could be part of it. I mean, look, I don't know what they're going to do about the tag team division, but they got to fix that. I think they got to they have a lot to do, right? So they have to figure out the next great feud for Roman. Yeah, right? That's plausible. That's believable. You know, and maybe there's not a lot of people. Some people think it's Drew. Some people think it's Lashley. I don't know.
At one point, I'd have said Gunther, Walter. But I mean, I know he's the IQ champ, and he's got him ridiculous shit. But
yeah, it's funny. They changed his name and put him on TV, and he got in shape. I mean, it's just they asked Keith Lee to do that, and he didn't seem to want to do it. So
yeah, but the thing is with Gunther,
not everybody can do it too. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do.
No. But they haven't really given me a reason to care about him since he's come to SmackDown. So
no, not really. I
mean,
but they won't do heel for heel with Roman. I think they've tried that a few times, and. You know, I don't know. To me, the big question is, what do you do with Brock? What do you do with Roman? And how do you organize this women's division? Because Bayley was a big deal. I mean, heel Bayley was not great, but Bayley herself was a huge trendsetter and a big person as a babyface. And it's just like, you know, now you don't have some of these people around, you know, but you have even more people around than there were before. So it's just like, you know, it's this never-ending cycle of like, Hotel California. It's like you can check out whenever you want, but you ain't leaving. So like, it's like, why are we still pushing Natty in the 22nd of 2000? Like, are you kidding? Like this shouldn't be happening at any level.
I was thinking, why they're pushing Natty like 8 years ago? Like, why are we still pushing Natty? And that was back in like 2014. I was like, and now we're still in 2022 and still pushing Natty. Like, is that?
And they seem like they don't know what to do with like Shotzi. Like they weren't really sure. They turned her heel and it was like kind of killed her. Like, you know, and they didn't really know what to do with.
I forgot she was with the company, if I'm honest.
Well, now she's like a tag wrestler now, right? I mean,
right.
That's like a tag wrestler.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Shotzi as well. But I mean, she was over. She was, you know. She came out in a little tank. She had the match. She was a match.
Yeah, they gave her a nice entrance. They let her do shit. Like they let her be a baby face. The crowd liked her. Her stuff looks okay. Nobody looks like her there.
No.
You know, like nobody looks like her there at all. Yeah. Like, you know, so it's like, you know, you could. This is what I don't understand. It's like I feel like you have these people that you could probably make something out of. Like Rhea. Yeah. They've been trying with they give like Rhea these half pushes all the time. Yeah. They put 10 pounds of makeup on her, make her look like she's in Mad Max when she's a stunning looking person in real life. You know, she's a gorgeous girl, very young. I don't know why she has to look like this. Like, is it, you know, she was too pretty? Like, I don't know, like, because she's such a big stature woman. Yeah. You know, so they don't seem to like that. And like, I don't know. They have Raquel. They don't really seem to know what to do with Raquel either. And she's very good. And I don't know, like I don't. It's like these half stories are all over the place. Like I think it's time now. If you're gonna reboot, and it's the best time ever to reboot, right? Because of Vince and all the other stuff, and Stephanie, and you have this younger company really nipping at your knee, like, and their fans are fucking with you all the time, and their wrestlers are always dumping on you. And CM Punk is pretending to care about women, which is hilarious, and like on so many fucking levels. But like, you know, it's like he knows more than he's defending two women who he doesn't know, he never worked with, because neither one of them were there when he was there. What's it called? Naomi might have been there.
Naomi will have been.
Meanwhile, her husband is there co-headlining and in major profiles making 7 figures. And it's like, so CM Punk has better insight as to the psyche of the company than the husband of the woman who you don't really know, who you're defending publicly, like trying to start shit. Like, that's weird. Like, all this Naomi shit, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the fact that her husband's still there is all I need to know. Yeah. Because it was really a prison and a terrible place for her and bad for her, and he wouldn't fucking be there. Yeah. Like, he would leave. You know, I hate to break this to anybody, but if you and your wife work for a company and one of you get fucked over, unless it's a storyline in wrestling, you leave too, because that's your spouse. Yeah. Now, it undermines anything that your spouse is trying to do. Yeah. You know, so absolutely. Like, how this is a thing where all these like people are talking about Naomi like they know her, and it's like, dude, her husband still works there and he's thriving. Yeah. He's having a renaissance there. regardless of why. It doesn't matter. He wouldn't be there if any of these things were really true, because no one would do. How would they live together? How would they cohabitate? So I'm going to go to that company that you think ruined your life and fucked you over and is.
Oh yeah, have fun. Yeah.
Okay, honey, be safe. Tell everybody I said hi. But no, CM Punk and some 23-year-old, who loves New Japan has the insight as to the psyche of the company. It's like, exactly. Like, really, dude? Like, her husband works there forever. His family is entrenched in the company for half a century.
Yeah,
right? Like,
they go back.
Yeah, it probably comes in conversation at the dinner table, right?
Yeah. I mean, like her entire in-laws' revenue is generated from the company that you think you're taking up for on her behalf for being such a terrible place to work. It's just like, well, let's look at her house. Who paid for her house? The company, the money she made from the terrible company. And by the way, you don't see Sasha or Naomi saying any of these things publicly. Do you notice?
Well, no, they've been relatively quiet, haven't they?
Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm just saying that I'm tired of like hearing about these things from people when the people that they're in relationships with or married to are working there and collecting a paycheck, and they don't seem to have this problem. So why would a stranger feel compelled to take up this mantle? You know? And that's not to say that any of these things are true or not true. I'm just saying, if me and my wife work for Walmart and my wife leaves and hates Walmart and wants to sue Walmart for being an unfair place, but I manage the Walmart, that's a fucking problem. I mean, like, am I still working? Am I still managing the Walmart? Yeah. And your wife is totally cool with it? Isn't that weird? No, it's not weird. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. Maybe Sasha and Naomi will come back. And, maybe this is a shtick too. I have no idea. Maybe this is
maybe we're being worked. I mean,
maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? I'll tell you one thing we did forget, actually, very briefly. What was your thoughts on the Rawlins Riddle segment? Do you think we should have had the match?
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think it was. Did you think it was necessary? I didn't think it was necessary.
Well, I don't know why we just didn't have the match. I don't understand the whole. Is he? He can't be legit injured because he would have done the.
Yeah, I haven't. What did the dirt sheet say? You guys
I've heard that he is legitimately injured.
He's hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've heard otherwise. I've read some dirt sheets where it's a work.
Right.
Well, that's what kind of makes it more interesting, right? The fact that none of us know.
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah. True.
Which I like, which I kind of like. I like that.
Well, the rumor I heard was it's storyline because they're saving it for Clash at the Castle, in Wales. Which fair enough. But yeah.
When is that Clash at the Castle?
September 3rd.
They're going to Wales?
Wales.
Yeah. I know, right? You come to the UK and you think, right, where can we go in the UK? Let's go to Wales. It's not even a real country. It's like another city in England.
Yeah, why didn't they try and book Wembley again? But
and they're not doing any other big shows on that. They got to do house shows there, right? They got to do stuff.
No house shows. Right? No house shows. Just that one show.
No offense to the Welsh listeners, by the way.
Yes.
On the lights.
Well, it's a weird look. It's a weird place to go.
Yeah,
for them.
When you've got Wembley and stuff like that, but
it's a weird place. That's full stop.
On a lighter note,
is it? I'm so unfamiliar with Wales. I'm afraid.
I've decided as well.
Who's any wrestlers Welsh that we know?
Yeah, Mark Andrews, I believe, is Welsh.
Okay. Anybody under contract? Anybody under contract Welsh? Maybe in the UK, NXT UK.
Mark Andrews, NXT UK.
Okay.
Yeah, just Mark Andrews, I believe.
There's that dude from years ago. He's like a shit Batista. What was he called?
Oh!
Yeah.
Mason Ryan.
Mason Ryan was Welsh. Okay.
Yeah.
They should have just called him Shitista.
You've got.
I'm Shitista.
You've got English people on the roster, Scottish people on the roster, Irish people on the roster.
Yeah.
But you go to Wales.
It's a little strange. I mean,
it's weird.
Yeah.
When I think of castles,
maybe Vince thought that's where Drew was from, and he just couldn't figure it out.
I think of Scotland when I think of castles.
You're from Wales, right?
Yeah.
No, Vince, I'm Welsh. Yes, no, I'm Welsh. Of course, I'm whatever you want, whatever's popular, Vince. I've told you, whatever.
I have decided as well that as of tomorrow, I am going to start dressing like Seth Rollins every day. So, because he's just so cool.
Becky's outfit would look like the Heat Miser from the old Santa Claus cartoons. I don't.
Yeah, well,
like she was fire and Bianca was ice. Like, did you get that?
They kind of cosplay now, don't they? So, like, does anybody know what she's supposed to be?
I don't know why she's cosplay. Like, she's dressed as like Bowie, like old.
Yeah,
Bowie.
it's like
Ziggy Stardust.
She dresses.
It's a little. What's the musical that was loosely sort of based on that? Hedwig and the Angry Inch, like a little bit. Like it's like a little bit. It's got a little fiat.
Ziggy Stardust crossed.
But it's Becky Stardust. Tron. That's what she should just say. I'm Becky Stardust. I'm Becky Stardust now.
Becky Stardust would be an amazing Becky Stardust Lynch.
Yeah. Oh, but then there's Stardust.
Do we want another Stardust? But
yeah, fuck yeah. If it's Becky Stardust,
that's Becky Stardust. And Seth could dress like he's in the band. He's like John Ronson. He's like one of these guys in the band. He's in the Spiders from Mars. Seth
that could
I'm
be
the Spider from Mars now.
That could be the stable, the Spiders from Mars, but like
it's Becky Stardust and the Spiders from Mars.
I like that.
I fucking love that.
They're gonna steal all of our ideas. They're gonna steal all of our ideas.
Becky Stardust.
Becky Stardust and the Spiders from Mars.
Love that.
Well, I'll tell you what, John, obviously, before we start to wrap it up, what's your thoughts now? Obviously, SummerSlam's over. Are you looking forward to Raw tonight? Do you think we're going to go
Well, it's tomorrow. See, we're so used
Raw's
to...
tomorrow, of course.
It's tomorrow, guys.
I'm thinking, yes.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going in a new direction from tomorrow?
I think it's going to put some new... I think everybody's going to look a little differently Monday. I think so, because the show was very well received. People love that main event. They may have hated the show, but they loved the main and they loved the opener and they loved the crowd. I mean, the crowd seemed happy. There was not a lot of lull in that crowd at all. I thought 80% of the show was not great, but it didn't matter because they ended up here and they started up here, right?
Yep.
I mean, you go to a concert, you're ready for that first song so bad, right? You're really ready.
And as long as they end on one of the classics.
As long as they end on something everybody could sing along to walking out to the car.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, do you know how many people I saw posting, like even this morning, was like, I thought I was so over Brock versus Roman, and I was wrong. Like, just when I thought I couldn't stand, like even my brother was like, Brock and Roman again? People want to see this? I was like, yeah, I know, dude, it's a joke. Well, it wasn't a joke. It was actually
It was actually good.
It was fun.
A lot of people's match of the year. I mean, like, I mean, I think Kat Dennings, the actress,
she did
just randomly posted, I think I like WWE now.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
There was a politician locally who I follow who's running for Congress who put something on. He's not very well known, and I thought that was. He goes, just when I thought I couldn't care about Brock and Roman, I'm like, isn't this guy running for Congress? I'm like, what the? It's a weird thing. I mean, look, it was definitely a big show. It was better than Mania because the main was better. The Mania main was terrible. And the opener was unbelievable. And it did have that shock factor with Bayley, with these other women. Even though, by the way, I think that should have been second to the main, just to illustrate a big moment like that. Seeing them do that in daylight, it's a little weird. It's like seeing Sting in the daylight fight Triple H. Not really something you needed to see.
You could have started with Liv and Ronda, maybe, you know. And
I would have started with the Usos tag match.
To
distance them from the main and keep them away. And then you won't see them for hours. So I would have done that. I would have started with the Usos tag match. Pretty hot. It was a good show in terms of the main, but there was so much filler. The filler was very raw, very house showish. I don't know why they could have had a little bit more dynamics. The standout to me was the opener was very solid, and the main, of course, clearly we're all going to remember the main. But also Logan Paul's big spot with the table. Unbelievable. I mean, that was an unbelievable. People that probably got shared a gazillion times. And I know you guys all like Pat McAfee. It's not really Mike.
I like Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I can't. He's great. He's great what he does. I'm just not into. He's just a bit too much for me. It's like very. He's like one of these like alpha guys, like
hustle culture guys. Yeah, like.
He's very like like I can't. It's enough. Take a sedative. Calm down. I know you're happy to be here. We're all glad you're here. You got the job. Tone it down a little bit. I think for me the worst match of the night was probably the Lashley Theory. Just unnecessary. It's an unnecessary match.
I'm over. I'm really not buying Theory.
He's okay. He's not a star though. He's not a star.
He's not a star, but I think it'd be stupid to say that like give it a few years. I feel like there is enough there with Theory for him to be a main eventer down the line, just not yet. there is
he would have been a great heel champion in NXT.
Yes. And I'd like to also say, like, can we just appreciate how fucking over Bobby Lashley is? Even though he's just US champion, that guy is so over still.
Well, look at him. I mean, physically, you look, he looks like everything, right? I mean, Bobby looks like everything
he's a god.
in the business that you could. Like, you look at Bobby and you go, this would be impossible for me not to make money with this guy, right? I mean, because he's so physically. I mean, he just looks like he's going to kill somebody.
He looks like an action star from like 80s action.
He does. He looks like a guy who shows up right before you get shot by the bad guy and just pulls him apart and like, you know,
shit out of the Predator or something.
And of course he has a real athletic pedigree. He's an MMA fighter. You know, works better for me as a heel personally. I love him as a heel. I think when he was doing the stuff with MVP was the you were getting the most out of the character. But, you know, I mean, this is the business. We flip-flop people all the time. I think Drew should probably go back to being a heel, too, quite frankly. I think that would be
I think maybe something he needs.
Might as well at this point.
Drew being a dick heel, just arrogant heel, just being like, I gave you people everything. That could be Drew's reason to turn heel. It's like, I carried this company on my back with COVID. And you boom, and now I'm having weird matches and doing promos offline. It's like, you know, and having just be like, you know,
Scottish accents,
well, he could be like, look, when people didn't want to, I showed up here. I could have went back to my country when COVID happened, like a lot of other people did, and sat out. But instead, I stayed here stateside with empty in the performance center. And did everything I could to keep this company going. And how did I get rewarded for it? They turned around, they signed Cody. How did I get rewarded for it? Look at Roman. Like, you guys hate Roman, but Roman gets both belts. You let Brock walk all over you for years. Like, you know, that would be the perfect excuse for Drew. How could I not turn heel? Look, I gave you people everything at the worst moment in the company history, and this is what I got. As soon as you get Cody and as soon as Roman comes back, you forget about me.
And they put everybody over Drew as well. Like Bobby Lashley went over him, Randy Orton went over him. I know he got it back, Randy Orton, but you know,
maybe this was to go big heel.
So they
out of nowhere.
Really, they just Roman went over him. Everybody went over him really, and it was just like, wow, who gives a shit?
I mean, he was not a great champion, but he was a COVID champion. There was nobody in the arena when he had the title.
Yeah,
he won his belt in front of nobody. It's going like this. I mean, and he acted like it was like the monumental moment of my life. It's like, there's nobody here, dude. There's nobody here.
Yeah, I think that might be it. That's maybe what it is. Because again, nothing against the guy. I just don't care.
Seems like a great guy, actually. Yeah. But like not heel. I just think it's time. Look, if you're gonna make these jumps, right? Make people heels and baby faces again. Yeah. I think that's really real. Like Seth is a heel. There's no getting around it. Seth is a heel. Seth does heel shit. He talks heel shit. Miz is a heel. There's no getting around it. Nobody wakes up and goes, "Oh, Miz might be a babyface now." No, he's a heel. Like we know. You know, I like that dynamic. I want to keep that dynamic. This ambiguousness is too much. It goes against the performance of the business.
Yeah,
you have to have somebody to kind of clearly root for and somebody to clearly rally against. You know,
like last night, Roman Brock, right? Perfect example.
You know? The thing that I hear is, you know, when you get people saying, "Oh no, we need more gray area people because in real life you have good gray area." Well, this ain't fucking real life.
No, and by the way, that's not so true anymore, is it? Right? Like even like if you guys even look politically where you live and where I live, that's really not the case anymore, is it?
Oh yeah.
Right? It's black and white.
It's black and white.
If a politician is doing something against your interests, regardless if they're from your party, you're against them. If a politician is doing something for your interests, regardless if it reflects your party, now you're okay with that person. That person's a good person to you now, because now you're not just tied to these ideologies. And that's what wrestling really, at the end of the day, the thing that makes when wrestling's great, it's when you don't know what's going to happen, and when something does happen, the disbelief leaves you. It's an immutable thing, right? It's organic. Like last night, Bailey walking out. I was like, holy shit, I can't remember last time I saw her. I can't remember. I was like, wait a minute, who's that? That's Dakota Kai? I thought they fired her. Like, why does her hair look like that? And then why are they calling Io Sky? That's dumb. Okay, but probably because they announcers can't pronounce her last name all the time. But, you know, and I'm like, Io, like, this makes no sense. What do these three have to do with each other? Like, this doesn't make any sense. You know, and then all of a sudden Becky is now, after being an a-hole on TV for the past year, is now, like, hates Bailey more. Like, I don't really know how we're gonna understand this. Like, she's like, Bianca, I hate you so much, but I hate Bailey so much more. It's like, okay, why? What did Bailey was like languishing as a heel, you know?
Well,
and by the way, let's see what they do with Bailey's character too. Heel Bailey.
I'm interested. It's the first time in a long time I've been excited for Raw. I'm excited for Raw.
Yeah, you were so excited. You lost the whole day. You thought it wasn't there.
I thought exactly. I know, right? They're messing with my head having these pay-per-views on the
You
Saturday.
don't even have a baby keeping you up at night yet, and you already not know what they are.
Oh no. I know.
I'm so intrigued with Raw. I might even watch the full highlights instead of fast forwarding through them.
No way.
Oh, Raw? Yeah. You got to see that open. That opener is everything. The hours are going to mean everything now, right? Like what happens on the hours, you know? I smell a debut. I just don't know, or some weird thing. I smell something. I just don't know what
Let's hope so.
That because I'm smelling a major heel turn or face turn or something. I'm thinking something's going to happen.
I'm getting Raw After Mania vibes for tomorrow. You know, for the first time in a long time, I feel like tomorrow is a true reset for a lot of things. And I think they're going to treat tomorrow like a Raw After Mania. Yeah.
It'd be nice to have one of those Raws because we haven't had one in years.
We haven't. The Raw After Mania this year was a huge letdown, wasn't it? Like, if remembering it, weren't we all like, that was not like, what happened? Nothing really happened. Like, Cody was really the only, Cody coming out was the only big thing.
I think the last 2 or 3 Raw After Manias have been pretty bad.
It's longer than that, Jamie, because I went to 3 of them and they were all shit. And that was going from WrestleMania 32, 33, 34. I went to Raw.
Will you guys say this was the best? Would you 3 say this was the best WWE pay-per-view of the year?
Yeah.
I haven't watched them all, but yeah, for me, yes. Yeah.
Might be.
I'm
trying to think of what was better, and it's like, I don't really remember what was better.
I didn't mind the Rumble. I thought the Rumble was all
Rumble was pretty good. Rumble was pretty good. Yeah. I don't know if this was as good. I would have to really go back and look at it. But
yeah, I would probably go with the Rumble. I would put SummerSlam around there, but I think the Rumble was still the best so far this year.
Maybe.
Do you guys think that the main possibly was probably maybe match of the year at the very least for WWE? It probably was, right?
At the minute, yeah.
Yeah, men's single match of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It was just fun.
Definitely the most memorable.
Yeah.
You know, it was nice as well to see Brock get his hands on Paul Heyman. You know.
Yeah, me and my brother-in-law talked about it. We said, "You ever notice that Paul Heyman never gets beat up?" And I'm like, "He probably because he's in bad shape and he probably refuses to do it." But you know, I think that was the end of it last night. Let's just hope that was the end of that.
Let's think so.
Hope that, because they said it was, they told us it was, they made a big deal of it was. There's nowhere to go now unless they stab each other in a knife fight in the alley. There's nowhere else to go. Unless they do a West Side Story and they do dance numbers and like.
I'm up for that.
I can see that, like West Side Story with Roman and Brock and everybody dancing. You know, I would watch that.
Speaking of movies, an old friend of mine who I did a year of university with back in 1998 when I did a year of a photography degree. He was doing a film degree and he's a screenplayer. He's a screenwriter. He has a film that's debuting at Fright Fest in London at the end of August.
What is it called?
It's called Stalker, and it stars none other than Bret the Hitman Hart.
No, what a weird turn of events.
I found that out last night. He shared it on Instagram, and I was just like, and I saw on the poster Bret Hart, and I messaged him saying, "Is this as in Bret the Hitman Hart?"
Is it about the FTR guys stalking Bret to be? It's about 2 bald wrestlers who can't get over a fetish they have for a guy that they don't really know.
I think that's
so it's a documentary about FTR.
Documentary,
documentary. About
but it's kind of just such a surreal moment, you know, because
isn't it weird when your lines cross? Like when I saw this politician who I follow, like, and again, like, he's not a big name. Saying his name would be meaningless, but he's just somebody who said something very interesting about like redistribution of wealth, and I found that, and I just started following him. And you know, he's not a massive name. He's running for a small seat. And then when he started talking about wrestling, I was like, looking around the room, I was like, is this guy messing? Like, is he like making fun of it? Like, it's like, it's weird when lines blur.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's kind of like the first time you see your teacher out, like when you're like over 21 at a bar.
That's
Mrs. Smith having a beer. And it's like, she was my 6th grade teacher. It's like, it's weird when these things cross. I can only imagine.
I'm so chuffed for him. Like, he's written loads of screenplays.
You got to get him on the show. I mean, he's doing one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's working with
his movie. He's written a movie and Bret Hart's in it.
That's amazing.
Wow. You know? Wow. We got to watch this trailer. You got to send me the trailer when you get it.
Yeah, I'll send you the details. Yeah, like I said, it debuts at this film festival in London in August.
I've heard of that film festival. Yeah, it's a good film festival.
It's run by Arrow Entertainment.
Yeah. Oh, Arrow's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look at you. You're so famous now, Rivers.
He is.
I'm thinking about trying to get down to the film festival in London so I can kind of hang out because I haven't seen him in absolute years, like well over a decade. I haven't seen him in person. It'd be nice to catch up with him, and it'd be also just nice, just kind of
got to support you. Hey, maybe the next movie does. You could throw a couple of songs on the soundtrack.
Well, that's what he's mentioned that to me. Like he's got.
Look at this, see? You could be in Stalker too. It could be about you stalking him to get on the soundtrack.
It could be me stalking Barry Horowitz.
Well, that's part 3. It's a 3-picture deal. It closes with you stalking Barry Horowitz and Barry Horowitz running away from you on the street. Like,
it ends with Barry Horowitz suing ringsiders. So
Again.
Again. Oh God, please.
I know. But hey, John, we're wrapping there as well because I can smell my pizza in the oven now as well.
I just had some myself.
We're having pizza. I'm having a glass of red wine. Obviously,
you're like a fancy lad all of a sudden.
I am. She's got non-alcoholic, and we're going to watch the Batman. We're going to.
Look at this! I'm going to get yelled at probably for the rest of the day, throughout the day, and then tomorrow I'll probably get yelled at a little bit more. Maybe more in the afternoon, maybe more of a nighttime yelling.
Yeah.
And it's just a big series of getting yelled at every day as you get older. That's what you guys have to look forward to. So I hope you're ready for it.
All to come. But John, we will get you back for Survivor Series.
Oh, I'd love to come back for Survivor Series, absolutely. And don't forget, this week we have our 100th episode of Break the Apocalypse. We're going to be we're going to be doing a big special episode there. Celebrate 100 episodes. 100 episodes.
Where does all the time go, John? Man, where does it all go? The time?
I don't know. I mean, it's wild.
Like last week, the first episode debuted. Now
I know. I still don't see how it's 100, but because I'm not good at math. Yeah. But I think we lost one episode in the 100 weeks because we had a power outage and somebody was sick. So we did a best of. But but that's it. But that's it. I mean, like we never take any time off. We're always consistent. That was the thing with me. I said if you want to build an audience, I think you have to do 2 things. You have to be transparent and you have to be consistent. So to me, it's like people know on Friday at some point, whether they're going to listen or not, they know it's going to show up in their box. Yeah. People know on Patreon when they wake up, they already got the episode. People know, like, the middle of the month, they already got their phone. Like, you got to be consistent. I think that's a huge thing. And it's hard. It's not easy. I love talking, but sometimes you just don't have it in you. It's hard to do.
Do you ever, John, can I ask you this? Like, do you ever kind of struggle for like subjects to talk about, or like once you get kind of started with one subject, it kind
honestly no. You know why? Because the we shifted really, like the idea was to shift to like news and culture, right?
Culture,
so it's and whatnot. There's always look. It's all we make this joke all the time, but it's we have mass shootings and crime and COVID and monkeypox and layoffs and the dollar here is worth 3 cents and just this constant, and then we have entertainment things happening and Elon Musk and Dave Chappelle and like Will Smith. It's like there's no if you pay attention to what's going on around you. But then we could talk about Shaheen, getting a rash for 45 minutes, or me, like, you know what I'm saying, or me getting yelled at in the garage. It's just, there's always something going on. If you're transparent and if you're consistent, and it doesn't matter. And I have no idea how many people listen to the show. I could be 5 for all the hell. It would be weird if it was 5, but I don't think it's.
We're 3 of them.
Oh, well, there you go. But I'm saying I'm very I'm very consistent. The last thing I wanted to do was spend 20 minutes on my dog, who died. But I knew, because I talk about it so much, I had to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, because I know it's something people can relate to also. I was like, shit, that happened to me, or that, I'm scared of that happening to me. Or, I remember that happened when I was younger. It's like, if you're consistent and you don't, look, I don't love to talk about school shootings, but they're a big deal and they affect everybody. And I think you guys know that too. These things affect everybody. People getting shot in the airport, getting shot in their business office, getting shot in the grocery store, getting shot. That's unfortunately at that time where we live here in this part of the pond, it's a big deal. It's a part of life now. You don't know if somebody who cuts you off is pulling over to shoot you, or to exchange, insurance cards. You just don't know, because this fear is real. And I don't always try to take this heavy subject, but I like to make jokes about it, because you got to. Because if you don't, you're not going to leave the house. You're not going to.
That's it.
Yeah.
We've only been going out for like 8 months here. Okay, I don't know how long you guys were. We've only been going outside consistently for less than about 9 months.
Yeah.
And we've spent that time avoiding trying to get shot. So I don't know. Like, it's just.
Yeah. Well, like you said, John, you have to make a joke and laugh about it. I had a friend who passed a few years ago, and he always used to say to me, "Find humor in everything." And that's how he lived his life, and I try to do that, and it's true.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, it's not funny, but like, I think there was something going on, and somebody I know got really sick, or something like that. No, I'll be a little bit transparent. So I had a friend who got out of prison. And I thought about wanting him to come on the show for two reasons. One, because I wanted him to talk about prison, because I think people make these prison references about things and they're very silly. And we've talked about this, I think, all of us before.
Yeah.
But the other reason was I want to try to reconcile my feelings about this person, because we were very close, and he went to prison for drugs, and he was constantly getting arrested for drugs, constantly. And he's like you go through this journey with this person and you think they're fine, and then 6 months later you see your phone, so-and-so got arrested for drugs again. And I'm like, but I just saw him and everything was fine. He was going to rehab and he was writing poetry and he had a girlfriend and he had a dog and he had a job. And it's just like, and I'm just trying to, like, I'm also trying to figure out, like, the reason I didn't do it was because I just didn't want to hurt this person's feelings. But I'll summarize was, I also wanted to examine this on the air with people to be like, how many more chances do I need to give this person?
Yeah.
How many more tries? Like when is my break? Because I feel like I'm kind of at my breaking point. Like the last try was it for me. The last rehab was it. The last prison was it. But I still love the guy, and like, and I wanted to kind of hash that out with him on the air a little bit. Be like, dude, like the last time I saw this guy, I could tell he was probably back on drugs, and I didn't do anything, and I was like, this was a long time ago. And then he skyrocketed into prison again for very, very, very bad things that he was doing. He was robbing and for drugs. So like I wanted to have a conversation with him about that on the air. And just be like, and make jokes, and be like, and be like, so what's the now when you hear people like he doesn't know about wrestling, but like, so when people say like a job is like a prison, having been to prison and served hard time, how does that make you feel? Like I want someone to say that. Like how does is it just like, are you just like beyond insulted like as you're sitting here, like as being incarcerated away from your children and your wife and your life, while someone going, I heard working for WWE is like a prison. And it's like, here's someone from prison telling you how stupid.
I like that. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. Like, that's really what I wanted to do. But I didn't do it. I might still, by the way, this might still happen. Like, I'm going to talk to him about it and see how much he wants to break the fourth wall. Because I am a little mad at this guy. I'm a little mad. I love him, and I'm happy he's out, and I'm happy he's doing so well, and he's speaking to people about going to prison. And I'm like, okay, but like, why do I need to get invested again this time? Like, what's going to, like, like, how many more times do we all have to take this ride with you? Like, now that I'm in my 50s, and you've been doing this since your 20s, and you're in your late 40s, and you're almost 50. It's like, am I going to spend my 60s going, oh, he's back out of rehab again? It's like, he's 65. Like, how many more times are we going to do this? So yeah, that's why I like having that vehicle for the show. I like to examine things, that normally most people probably might not talk about because they might get them in trouble, but also it's never preachy. It's always supposed to be funny. Like everybody has room at the table. I'm not right about anything. I'm not wrong about everything either. I'd rather talk about it with somebody and let them and expose how stupid I might be about something. Like, I don't know if you saw, but I apologized. I probably did this on Patreon because we're out of time, but I apologized for insulting that policeman who was looking at his phone at that shooting that we had, the Texas shooting. He was looking at his phone because his wife was murdered.
Yes.
Okay, so
now,
by the way, a lot of people did this. Every news outlet, I don't know if you saw it, every news story attacked this person. So it was natural to think that was wrong. That he
just to clear up, was it the guy with the Punisher screen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm with you.
I immediately apologized, and I even re-apologized again this week. Because I forgot for a second too. He goes, oh no, like we offer condolences. I go, because but that's what we do. Like, we're not right all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's what a human being does. You make a mistake and you go, hey, I made a big mistake. I was wrong. I shouldn't.
He was finding out in that moment that.
Yeah, he was finding out.
Wife was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he was on the cover of the newspapers here as a villain, as a terrible human being. Wow. Boy, that cat has had it with this podcast.
Yeah.
The weird thing, though, is my cat sat behind me on the bed and she's just lifted her head up wondering where the hell that other cat's come from. So,
wow.
So it's all going off. But, hey, John, it's always a pleasure, man. We absolutely love you.
Thank you so much, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on, John.
Well, listen, I'm afraid not. Look, Jamie, when is this baby coming?
Oh, it's the due date is until March the 2nd. So it's
so I was gonna say if there's gonna be any other big changes, like if Rivers has a #1 album,
well, let's tell you something. My album launch is March 10th. So,
yeah, I want to come. I want to come out and see that, man. That'd be fun.
Man, if you could,
that would be amazing if you came out.
I would love to come. If I come out though, I gotta do a song. I don't come out there. Draper doesn't fly internationally for hanging out for.
If you make it to the album launch, we'll do that. We'll do a song.
We'll definitely do a song. We'll do a podcast. We do. Forget it.
Podcast. We'll catch a train over to Manchester.
Yes, I have to go to I have to take us out for Lads Pick. Otherwise, I can't
visit Morrissey's house. Salford.
Absolutely. We'll do we could throw hamburgers. We could throw meatballs through Marcy's window. It'd be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Listen, you guys have been so good to me. Thank you so much for everything. Really, I appreciate everything you guys do for me too. And
likewise, man.
I really appreciate it. And I always get so happy like when I see other people sharing your stuff, or like you guys get these great interviews with these like really, really interesting people, and they seem to really flow really good. You guys talk to a lot of interesting people in the business. Like you don't do these cookie cutter things. It's so great. And I think that's a part of your success.
That means a lot to us.
You guys have like a real approach. Like you guys talk to people like informed fans. You don't talk to people like disgruntled employees. Like that's why I think you get all these people. Like you have these great conversations with people because you're talking to them like a fan. Hey, I like what you do a lot. Like I want to know more about it. And it's like it's just such a nice approach, and it's egoless. I love it. Thank you guys so much for what you guys do, and I'm grateful to be a part of the team.
That, like I said, that really means a lot to us coming from you, John.
Yeah, it really does.
Listen, maybe you could thank me next March in person. How about that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, wait a second. When's this baby due? Hold on. What? Oh no, wait. What if the baby comes the same night as the show? Oh no.
March 2nd.
March 2nd.
March 2nd. Oh, Jim Wilson do the show.
That would be my luck. I come to the UK in March, like the worst weather probably ever. Like Draper's plane's delayed like 4 days for snow. It's like, it's March. I don't know. What do you want me to do?
I've told Emily anyway that I'll be at the album launch. So hopefully
I plan on coming. I want to come. I totally want to come.
Oh, that's amazing.
I want to come do some songs, hang out.
We'll definitely
man.
Throw meatballs through people's windows. It'll be amazing.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Make a plan. I'll get my passport. Ready and everything.
Hell yes.
Amazing.
Seriously, let's do it. But John, always a pleasure, man. We'll speak to you in a couple of months for Survivor Series anyway.
Yes, absolutely. And I can't wait to see what more exciting news happens to all three of you exciting young men. Every time I talk to you guys, there's something new going on. There's a new haircut. There's a new apartment. There's a new job. There's a new lady. There's a resurgence of an old lady. There's a cat. There's a lady with a cat. There's a lady with a cat who cuts hair. There's a baby coming. And I just sit here and get yelled at. It's amazing. It's so fair, isn't it? It just seems fair in that regard.
Such is life.
Such is life, exactly.
Such is life, that's it.
Such is life. All right, well, listen, my best to all three of you. Much more success, and I will talk to you all soon.